Could we be seeing Dio in part 9 of the new JoJo's Bizarre Adventure manga? I think we could. And I have a theory that can kind of lead into how we can probably be seeing Dio in part 9 and a little history of how this can actually be. Now, fair warning, there are going to be spoilers for about every single part of JoJo's up to now, except for the spin-offs. So that includes part 1 through 8. So be warned about that. I have said it now. You have been warned. Let's get into it. So with part 9 kind of being in production, kind of being on the back burner while this Josuke Whole Horse spin-off is being produced, we are left here wondering what this part's going to be, who the JoJo is going to be, who the antagonist is going to be, basically everything. But my theory for why we could be seeing Dio in this part possibly make a return, who knows if it's a new Dio, if it's the part 7 Dio, who knows what Dio it's going to be. I have a feeling we might be seeing Dio in something sort of new in the story coming in with part 9. And this comes from kind of how the past JoJo parts have worked, really, with the first part being kind of an introduction to something, some new power, some new format, or, you know, some new character. And then the next part being how it kind of flourishes in that way. So like with part 1, we have the Bram Stoker Dracula kind of inspired story that introduces the Joestar bloodline, that introduces Dio, that introduces the Stone Mask, and introduces Hamon into the story. And then Araki kind of flourishes it in part 2 with the Pillarmen, with Joseph, the next one in the Joestar bloodline to be the main focus, and a little bit more flourishing on the Hamon power system. Then in part 3, we are introduced to Jotaro. He is kind of easily guided onto us with Joseph from part 2, but we're also introduced to a new power system, Stans, and that is easily introduced to us through learning it with the antagonist, Dio, once again. Dio is resurrected, and we are introduced to his stand, and we are going through that story of part 3. And then he flourishes on stands and, you know, continues the stands throughout the entire series, but kind of flourishes on stands and does different things with stands and uses Dio's stand of time manipulation as kind of a catalyst for how he's going to work on these next villains. And he does that with Kira and exploring how different stands can work with the villains of the week in between Kira, and the way Kira can reverse time to help his identity. And then in part 5, we kind of get this one is a little weird, I will say. It's kind of a generational thing, which JoJo already does, with how part 1 goes from Jonathan to Joseph to Jotaro to Josuke. Josuke is kind of the outlier there because it's kind of like a side branch of the family tree instead of going down the family tree and us going straight to Jotaro. He's kind of a side branch. But then we go to Dio's son, Giorno, which is kind of a newer next generation not flop, but like spin that they did, and using more time manipulation with King Crimson and skipping time. But then we go into part 6, where he kind of goes into the next generational thing once again with Jolene. And that's kind of the one where it's hit or miss on the theory. That is the one outlier of the theory, I will say. But then we get to part 7, where he experiments with a brand new universe. He experiments with a brand new power system, which is the spin, the golden ratio spin that Johnny and Gyro do, and then Gappy later on in part 8. But then he also experiments with a new power for the villain, Funny Valentine, which is kind of like a reality manipulation, where Funny Valentine is able to dimension, like hop and warp and kind of move and be able to bring different things to us. He brought us a different Dio. He brought us however many Funny Valentines. He brought different things from different dimensions, and he kind of just warps reality in that way. And we see it again in part 8, where Gappy is able to use the spin on his bubbles, just like Johnny and just like Gyro. And Wonder of You, I believe, is a stand name, but the head doctor is able to manipulate reality to cause calamities to anybody chasing him, and that's obviously a stand power wonder view, but it's another reality manipulation thing. So what we could possibly be seeing in part 9 is maybe some new form of how we meet our JoJo's, some smaller power system. But the thing we can very much be kind of inclined to see is a form of reality manipulation of the villain. We got how many? 4? I believe we got 4 versions of time manipulation. We got stop time, reverse time, skip time, and then speed up time with Poochie. So we've only done 2 forms of reality manipulation so far in part 7 and 8. So part 9 we could be seeing something else. Who knows how he's gonna do it? Who knows what other stands he's gonna have in part 9? But I really want to know what you guys think, what we could be seeing in part 9. I am very much of the fact that we're going to be seeing Dio, and we're going to be seeing some sort of new experimental thing he does, like he's done in most odd part JoJo's, like he's done in 1, 3, 5, and 7. He's done something in the vein of something new, part 5 being the biggest outlier, where it's just another generational thing, but it's kind of different in the form of being Dio's descendant, but also Jonathan's descendant at the same time. That's a whole different argument itself. But let me know what you guys think part 5 is going to be. A little bit of a shorter video today. I kind of wanted to get this theory out there. It's kind of just more of a fun one, kind of more speculation, but let me know what you guys think we could be seeing in part 9 of JoJo's. I'm very excited for it. I'm very excited to see what happens in this Josuke Whole Horse spinoff. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.